This was not the original plan for today as far as filming. I was gonna wait another couple weeks before I did this, but oh well. I originally had another video that was supposed to go up today, but while editing it, I realized I hated it, so it's gonna get scrapped. So in a couple videos from now, a video that was filmed yesterday, if you hear me referencing a video you've never seen on this channel, it's because it got scrapped. Hey guys, it's Lilith. Welcome back to my channel, and this is getting posted a couple of days before my birthday. Originally, I was gonna post a video today that was 30 lessons for 30 years, and it was supposed to be kind of like a love letter to myself and anyone younger than me that needed advice. But I didn't want to do that, and the entire time I was filming it, I was clearly very awkward and somber, and it was very strange. But I wanted to have a more positive video to put up in honor of my birthday. So that's what this is. This is getting posted, I believe, on the 25th of September, and my 30th birthday is on the 27th. Also happens to be the day that the Batshit Crazy podcast that I run with my best friend comes back. So if you want to do a nice thing for me for my birthday after you finish watching this, if it's already the 27th or later, please go check out the first episode of season 2 of our podcast, which you can find down here in the description, along with a server for people that are fans of the podcast, but that you have to be 18 or older to join. I thought, what better video to do to honor the week of my birth than a video that's all about me. I have 5K on this channel now, and I'm so grateful for anyone that subscribed, and if you're not already subscribed, please do so. And I decided I wanted to do a video to like help people get to know me, so I put up a forum a couple of weeks ago that was like ask me questions that are not related to shifting, which is my usual content. And I did get some questions that were still shifting questions, and those are going to get put off for a shifting Q&A that I'm posting at a later date. Don't know when yet. But these are questions that are all about me, just like life outside of that. Hopefully you find that interesting. So I just figured we would do something fun and light, and I would answer some people's questions. I will also beg, please don't pay attention to the sound of the fan in the background. Very hot in the house. And I think I just have to keep my fan on all the time during filming now, even though it's kind of loud and horrible sounding. So I put up this Google form a few weeks ago, and it was just like a send in your anonymous questions thing. And I put it up on YouTube in a regular post. I put it in my TikTok bio for a while, and I put the link a couple of times in our Discord server. I expected maybe 15 or 20 things. There's 80 responses in here. Some of them are clearly sent in by the same person. There's like 10 different FMKs in here. So I think one person sent in all of those. I don't know for sure that I'm gonna get to every single one of these, because answering 80 questions thoroughly is probably gonna take forever, so I'm gonna get to as many as I can. I'm also going to, there's a few that I saw, I haven't seen all of these, but some of these I saw were repeats. There's like 6 or 7 different questions asking about my music taste. So if any questions are repeats, I'm gonna ignore them if they have already been answered in something else. And like I said before, any questions that are about shifting are also not going to be answered. So not all 80 are going to be individually answered in here, but I will try to get to all of them. But if the filming goes on for too long, I might not be able to, because we are supposed to start filming season 2 of the podcast in about an hour and a half, and I don't want to be late for that. So I'm just going to start from the very top of the form, I guess. I am going to ask very nicely that you be so nice to me about the fact that it's just horrible lighting. Like, it's like better like this when the camera's like, see, it's like the light from the computer is a lot. It's a lot. I wonder if there's a way to make all of this darker. No, there's no dark mode, which sucks because there's dark mode for regular Google. Oh well, this is just gonna be really brightly lit, and then I'll face it away from me when I'm not answering the question, so maybe the lighting won't be horrendous for the entire video. I feel like this makes me look dead because it's making my dark circles even more obvious. So I'm just gonna start at the top, and we will go that way. So the first one says, "Hi, I was wondering how you and Carly met, if it's not personal. I couldn't really come up with any non-shifting questions, so that's my best. Don't judge. Also, I tagged you in a community post and you didn't respond. I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. I'm so sorry. I respond to everything that I see, so if I didn't respond, it means I did not see it. I'm so sorry. So I'll tell you here, I literally love you and your videos so much, and I'm actively waiting right now for you to post because I'm so excited. My sister recently got kicked out and she was a mother figure to me, so watching you made me feel able to cope. You remind me a lot of her. I'm gonna cry. First one in and I'm gonna cry. You remind me a lot of her, and it makes me so happy watching your videos and imagining what could have been with my sister. So thank you. Also, you're literally so stunning. So of course I had to make an edit of you. I'll post it in a few days and tag you. I really hope you're doing well. Have a wonderful life. I'm already hormonal. This is gonna make it so much worse. First of all, yes. Post said edit, yes. I don't think anyone's ever made an edit of me before. You would be the first. That's so sweet. First of all, I love you too. I am so happy that my videos can comfort anybody. All I've ever wanted from making videos is to make people feel like they had a place to relate to others and to learn and to be happy, and I just want to entertain people and help people feel distracted from their crappy lives for a while. So how me and Carly met, kind of boring, but we met on TikTok. She said that she followed me for a really long time before I ever followed her. She said she actually followed me from a different account that wasn't a shifting account before she started posting on Shift Talk. And I can't remember if I found her via videos she was posting about her old Twilight DR or her old Bridgerton DR. I can't really remember. I know that I followed her because we had a DR in common that like wasn't super popular. It was back during the era when people were only ever shifting to like the big three. If you've never seen like the big three on Shift Talk, it's Harry Potter, Marvel, and Stranger Things. And I never saw anyone shift outside of that for a long time. And she was the first person I had ever seen that had, it was either the first person I ever saw shifting to Twilight or the first person I ever saw that was shifting to Bridgerton. I can't talk today. I act like I need this coffee. And I followed her for that, but we didn't talk for a long time because I'm very easily intimidated by other people. And I also found her really intimidating because she was posting her aggressive shifting info videos. And I was like, she is mean. So I didn't want to try to talk to her. And then the only reason we ever had a conversation outside of like an occasional comment section was that we got in touch when she started giving tarot readings for money, and I told her that I didn't have money for a tarot reading, but that if she wanted I could do an exchange with her because I also read tarot. And we ended up doing that, and then it just kind of blossomed into we were talking all the time, and by 3 days in we were so close that we were sending each other Snapchats from the bathroom. And now we're attached at the hip, and every time she doesn't answer me I feel like a pathetic boyfriend who's like, I miss you, I want to see you. Like, so that's how we met. It's not super exciting, but it feels like we've known each other forever because of our shifting stuff, because we do have memories of knowing each other in other lives since we were kids. So it feels like I've known her my entire life. So in this reality, we met through the internet. All right, next question. What is your shower scent of choice, body wash and lotion? I like to shop around scent-wise sometimes, but my go-to is lavender. I like that you can find pretty much anything in lavender. Body wash, shampoo, conditioner, lotion, soap. You can find body sprays, perfumes, bed sprays, like really any scent for me, whether it's in the shower or out of the shower. I love lavender. I actually just finished my like 100th bar of lavender soap. I'm using one right now that's supposed to be like Iron Man soap. But once I finish that, I'm 100% going back to like my tried and true lavender soap and stuff. I used to use lavender shampoo and conditioner. The only reason that I stopped was because I noticed And I don't know if it's just that I'm not shopping in the right places, but I noticed a lot of lavender scented shampoo and conditioners on the market nowadays are all geared towards volume. And I don't really need volume in my hair. My hair is already incredibly thick, not just that I have a lot of hair, but also that each individual strand is incredibly thick. Every hairstylist I have ever had has talked about how much hair I have. And I get my sides and back buzzed, and even then the hair on top of my head has to be thinned twice at every single hair appointment. And then my hairstylist, without a doubt, love her, she's so sweet, she still is like, how are you not bald? I have taken off so much of your hair. And she gets so frustrated with me. So the only reason I'm not using anything lavender right now is because I'm trying to focus on not using volumizing stuff, because it'll just make my hair really poofy. So I can't remember if the thing I'm using is Pantene or what it is. I don't think it has a smell. But it's geared towards like smooth and shine, because I'm trying to tame the frizz in my hair. But when I am going for specific scents of anything, it's always lavender. I see this question before I just saw one word and I got like more flashbacks. Do you ship Swan Queen? It's from Once Upon a Time, the TV show, the unhinged show where Rumpel Goocher is a sexy lizard freak. First of all, whoever you are, we're like this. You're one of the people. Second of all, Rumpel Goocher, did you just make a Brittany Broski reference at me? Isn't Rumpel Goocher a Brittany Broski reference? I think I remember watching a video forever ago of her learning about character AI and making an AI of Rumpel Goocher. Is that what that is? Also, I 100% know Once Upon a Time. Okay, fun little lore drop for you guys. I'm gonna put the computer away for a second. I used to live and breathe pretty violently for Once Upon a Time. Like, I was so deep in the fandom that I went to sleep and woke up with this show. I was rewatching it all day. I was watching edits, making edits, writing fan fiction, reading fan fiction, role-playing characters. Like, me and my friends were like role-playing together through text, playing characters from this fucking show. And it was my entire life. I remember on like a really old fandom account that the world will never know about, I remember like collecting tweets from the actors that I would text them, not text them, I would tweet at them and then take screenshots and keep them in a folder on my computer. And it was like what I did. I lived and breathed for the Once Upon a Time fandom culture. And I'm not kidding. I will say it here and now because I don't know how much of that fandom still exists. I heard it's pretty dead now. It was the #1 most toxic fandom I have ever been in my entire life. Like, people were sending like threats on a daily basis if you shipped like one of the main ships they didn't ship. And I was a Swan Queen girl. Yes, I was a Swan Queen girl. I was obsessed with Swan Queen. I feel like the big ones that were at war anyway, the big ones that were at war were Swan Queen, Outlaw Queen, and Captain Swan. They were all at war with each other. And then the other big ones that people like didn't seem to get into wars with anybody about were like Rumbell and Snowing. And like no one touched those. Like those just kind of existed. But people who were in the Swan Queen fandom were constantly like being bombarded by people who were in the Outlaw Queen fandom and the Captain Swan fandom. And maybe from the other side, people who were on those parts also thought Swan Queen was attacking them. There's bad people in every fandom. Just pointing that out. So I've seen people who were big Swan Queen shippers that they were crazy. There's bad people in every fandom. But I literally remember like me and the girl who was my best friend at the time that was as big into the fandom as I was, me and this girl would get threats on Tumblr because we were posting Swan Queen stuff. And we would get threats on Twitter, and it was so normal. Like, we were like 19-year-old girls, I think. That's how old we were. Yeah, we were like 18, 19-year-old girls. And it was normal for us to get threats from people on Twitter, like threatening our lives because we shipped Swan Queen. And it was insane. It was like the most toxic fandom I have ever been a part of. And it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But I do ship Swan Queen. I actually recently decided, even though the fandom for a long time was like really triggering for me because I did get like some really violent, vile stuff thrown at me while in that fandom. And a lot of people that I knew who were in the fandom at the time also have horror stories. I recently decided that I would like face my demons and that I would start watching the show again, and I'm like 3 episodes into the show and I'm sitting and watching it and I'm like, they spent all of the budget on that show on Regina's outfits, and I forgot because Regina's hot and I didn't care, and I was like 18 and I was like, and now I'm almost 30 and I'm like okay. But yeah, I ship Swan Queen really, really hard. I used to be ride or die. When I was 18, I was like, I'm gonna get a Swan Queen tattoo. 18-year-old me was so deep in the internet, and she needed a hug bad. But yeah, I still ship Swan Queen. I have Swan Queen edits currently saved on my phone. But I only just recently got back into it. Alright, let's pull this back. I still can't believe somebody said Rumpelgoocher. Also, calling him a sexy lizard freak, I don't know if that's a reference to the TikTok that's like, scaly lizard man, or if this person's actually into Rumpel, but I'll say it right now. Rumpel's got something about him. I don't care. He's got something, you know? He's got that finesse. He's got that, like, evil finesse. Let's see. You get to explore a world from within the Halloween tree forest in the Nightmare Before Christmas. Any except for Christmas or Halloween. Which do you choose? Okay, that's easy because I hate Christmas. What holidays were on the... I remember like Easter and Valentine's Day, but hold on. It says... Google says the holidays represented are Halloween, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Independence Day, St. Patrick's Day, and Valentine's Day. I would say Valentine's Day then. I'm one of those people that, this sounds so cheesy and so typical chick of me, but I love love. I just do. I love reading the romance genre of books. I love reading ship fics. I love watching ship videos. I love romantic movies. I love romantic TV shows. I love video games where you can have a love interest during the storyline. I've just always been that person. I'm a very, very romantic person, both creatively and just in my personal life. I love love. So probably Valentine's Day. Okay, I've reached my first FMK, which I don't want to have to censor myself enough to say the F word repeatedly. So instead of marry kill, I'm gonna say kiss marry kill, because that's less work for me. I will say a lot of these, and I'm so sorry to whoever sent these in, most of these I don't actually know who most of these people are. I think like probably all of these kiss marry kills, I don't know who one or more of the people are. So, and I can see right now the first two, I don't know who any of the first one are, and the only one I know from the second one is Lego Batman. And I'm on a time crunch. I'm not gonna Google these people in order to find out who they are, so whoever sent these in, I'm so incredibly sorry. I will only be answering the kiss marry kills that I know who all three people are, because some of these look to be music artists, some of them look to be fictional characters, and some seem to be like actors, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I'm judging from like the name. It's like this person from band you've never heard of kind of thing. So again, I'm only going to answer the ones that I know who they are, and these first two, I don't know who they are. But there's more I remember towards the bottom. Like I said, I haven't read all of these, but I did glance over them, and I remember most of them I didn't know. So whoever that is, I love you, but I'm so sorry, I'm not going to answer most of them. What's a flex you haven't been able to say because nobody has ever asked you about it? Ooh. Do I have a flex? I don't know how much of a flex it is, or if it just makes me feel nice, but my girlfriend thought that she was straight when she met me, and then she realized she wasn't straight because of her attraction to me. So I'm so good looking that I broke my girlfriend's heterosexual barrier. So I don't know if that's necessarily a flex or just something that I like to say because it makes me feel cute. Alright, I am gonna list several so you have options. Love your content, diva. Love you! Call me diva like that? Okay, so there's multiple. Top 5 musical artists. Oh God, are we including bands? Are we including bands? Okay, I'm gonna do both bands and solo artists. Number 1 is Sleep Token. Number 2 is Hozier. Number 3, Ghost. Number 4, I love me some Chase Atlantic. God, number 5 is hard. I'm one of those people, I don't always listen to like a whole artist. It'll be like I listen to a song I really love. Part of me wants to say Rob Zombie because I'm wearing a Rob Zombie shirt. But I think my sister has gotten me onto this band recently, and sometimes my music tastes change. So part of me wants to say that, but honestly, I think I would be doing myself an injustice if I didn't say Stevie Nicks. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Sleep Token, Hozier, Stevie Nicks, Chase Atlantic, and Ghost. What are your comfort shows and what do you love about them? One of my comfort shows is Doctor Who, specifically, like the 10th and 11th Doctors. I love the fact that it is both painful and whimsical and has David Tennant in it. Charmed, like the original Charmed, is like my OG comfort show. I've been watching it my whole life and I just love it so much. I know that it's kind of cheese, but it makes me really happy. It's something me and my mother bonded over when I was a kid. I'm showing it to my sister for the first time now. And that shows the reason that I have a triquetra tattoo on my chest. So that's my like number 1 big one. I have a comfort anime. Ouran High School Host Club was the first anime that I ever watched all the way through, and I love that anime because my sister and I didn't speak for several years due to like personal reasons, and then when she and I came back together to be friends, there was like a movie that no one's ever heard of called Snow White: A Tale of Terror, and we watched that, and it was like the first time we ever laughed together as like not children. And then the next day we binge watched all of Ouran High School Host Club, and it was the first show that we watched together that like bonded us, and so it's like really special to me. So yeah, I'd put Charmed at number 1, and then Ouran High School Host Club, probably Doctor Who right after that. If I have to add more, Golden Girls is always just as funny as the first time that I watched it, and Friends is always just as good and just as funny, and it reminds me of when life was easier. So those are some good comfort shows for me. What are some of your Harry Potter headcanons? Ooh, okay, alright, okay. So I have an entire video on this channel from a few years ago. Hold on, I'm gonna put this down while I talk about this. I have a video on this channel from a few years ago called Harry Potter Headcanons I 100% Believe. One of my favorite headcanons is that Lily was actually both plus size and bisexual. I also love the headcanon of Severus being Draco's godfather. That was talked about so much in the fandom I didn't realize it wasn't canon for a long time, as well as like being up there with how many of the men they've just decided the middle names for. I love that. I love the headcanon that Narcissa and Lucius Malfoy were in an arranged marriage but ended up falling in love, and they're one of the few pure blood couples that ended up in arranged marriage that were actually in love. I love the headcanon that Narcissa would have been taken down so hard by everything that happened during the war that she would have made up with Andromeda post-war. God, there's so many, and the thing is, it's not like a favorites thing. So many of my Harry Potter headcanons are like really depressing, and I'm like trying to think of like happier ones because a lot of my headcanons are just really, really sad. So I'm trying to think of like not sad ones. Most of them were sad. I think though, if you do want to hear like all of my big Harry Potter headcanons, go to my account, find the video that I think is from like 2 or 3 years ago called Harry Potter Headcanons I 100% Believe. They are all there. This person had more. Hold on, let me go back to their thing. The computer closed on me while I was talking about Harry Potter headcanons. Okay, what are some of your Twilight headcanons? Do I have Twilight headcanons? I don't know if I actually have any. That's really weird. Either that or they're just not coming to me because of my ADHD. I think if I had to come up with any, I think I really like the headcanon. There's a girl on TikTok, I think her name is Sarah. I want to say it's like Sarah Gallagher or Sarah Geller or something like that. I think it's Sarah Gallagher. And she makes pretty much all Twilight content. And she talked about how she has a theory that, and this is depressing, she has a theory that every 10 years, Bella and Edward will break up and then get back together like every decade or so. And I don't know if that's necessarily like my favorite Twilight headcanon or anything like that. I just like firmly believe that to be true. I don't have a lot of Twilight headcanons, surprisingly. Top 5 favorite movies, holy shit. Sweeney Todd, A Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Man in the Iron Mask. Galaxy Quest. Probably Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And then honestly, probably 1992 Dracula. I was obsessed with Bram Stoker's Dracula when I was a teenager. And it just kind of hit. I love vampire romance. So yeah, probably that. Favorite book genre? Romance. I dabble in all sorts of romance, fantasy romance, dark romance, contemporary romance, age gap romance, monster romance, alien romance, but it's romance if we're going like broad. What's your idea of a perfect day? It starts with iced coffee. I end up at a bookstore, and then after the bookstore, I would say Halloween shopping, because in my perfect day, it's Halloween time. So yeah, I would say a coffee with a sweet treat, and then book shopping, Halloween shopping, finishing the evening up with some sort of dinner that involves pasta, specifically Alfredo, and then the evening spent lazily watching movies, but like in that glow of like after you have removed all of your makeup and taken off your real people pants and you're wearing your like ginormous shirt that's 3 sizes too big for you. That. Favorite snacks? I'm a big popcorn person because it's easy to make and I like the texture of popcorn. It's crunchy without hurting my teeth. I'm currently on a big binge of string cheese. I don't know why. I'll probably eat it in a little while when we film the podcast, which I'm realizing is in an hour. And I really like these like fiber brownie things I've been getting from the store because I can have something chocolate without feeling too bad about it. I'm also, and this sounds so girl dinner of me, I'm a big fan of just eating like cold deli meat out of the fridge. I'm a big fan of just like walking into the kitchen and eating turkey out of the container and then leaving. I'm a big fan of that. Do you have any hobbies and what are your favorite ones? I like to crochet, but I have not crocheted in months because I do have a disability in this wrist that causes me pain. And I have carpal tunnel in this hand. So it's really painful for me to do so. So I have not done so in months, but I do love it. I also love playing video games. I also kind of take a hit with the wrist pain with that, but not as much as I do with crochet. I just finished playing Date Everything not that long ago, and I am paused on my run of Baldur's Gate 3 so that I can play some Dragon Age Inquisition. And I was playing Resident Evil Village the other day with my sister. I'm a big fan of video games. I'm a big fan of reading. There's like this giant bookcase behind me, and then there's books on 2 shelves underneath of my TV, and then there's like 3 or 4 shelves on a tiny bookshelf over there, and then I have a box of several books outside. So I love reading. I also have a Kindle over there, and I also listen to audiobooks. I was just listening to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein on audio today. So I love reading. I love playing video games. I do love crochet, but I don't get to do it very often. I feel like I should have more hobbies than that, but those are my big ones. And I think my favorite one is honestly probably the video games one because it's good for my ADHD. Have you ever watched the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer? I feel like you would love it if you haven't. If you have, who are your favorite characters? Mine's Buffy, Spike, and Glory. I have tried to watch Buffy twice. because everyone keeps telling me that I would love Spike because I love Damon Salvatore. So everyone keeps telling me, but I have had the hardest time trying to get through that show, and I don't know if it's because I have trouble with like the preppy valley girl trope, or if it's because I just haven't been in the mood when I've tried to watch it, but I have not made it all the way through the first episode. I do really want to, but I've been struggling. I'm really on my vampire kick right now, and I was actually just watching Van Helsing earlier today, and I know that I need to watch Buffy. I need to rewatch True Blood because I've never actually finished True Blood. I'm trying to get my best friend to agree to watch Bram Stoker's Dracula with me, and I think that all of this is coming on the back of the fact that my For You page is currently flooded with edits of the 2025 Dracula, the Dracula Love Tale. That dude's acting is crazy good. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. I want to say it's like Caleb something. It's Caleb Landry Jones, I think it's his name. He portrays heartbreak and pain and agony so well, and it's heartbreaking. Between me and you, somebody uploaded the entire video, the entire movie in parts on TikTok. And I love me a good romance. I just do. I love me a good romance. You're stuck inside of a Criminal Minds episode. Which member do you hold most faith in saving you? I've never seen that show. I'm so sorry. If you could live anywhere in the world, the whole entire world, you just wake up there and have a life of your choosing, where is it? There's a few places that come to mind. Romania, Ohio, California coastline, Connecticut. Part of me is like, I'm on my vampire shit, so Transylvania. But I feel like that would not go well for me. Part of me wants to say New York because Broadway. But part of me is also like, oh, California, because just the queer culture would be amazing. But also I kind of really, really, really badly want to get to the US. So probably I'd say Italy. I have Italian family, so maybe there. Who's your top 5 Avengers besides Tony? You've clocked me now. You've clocked me now. We can't just be counting the original Avengers because there was 6, the only ones other than him. Okay, hold on. Who counts as an official member of the Avengers? Because I know there's people that are like around the Avengers but don't officially count. And I'm like, are we also counting new Avengers or original Avengers? Okay, so it looks like there's a few different sections. There's the original team, which is from 2012 Avengers, which has Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. And then there's post Age of Ultron additions, which includes Vision, Scarlet Witch, War Machine, and Falcon. And then later members and associate members included Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Rocket, Nebula, Okoye, Ant-Man, and Wasp. But I also know, spoilers for Thunderbolts really quickly, skip a little bit ahead if you don't want to hear this. I know that they've also split up between like the 2 sets of the new Avengers in the MCU timeline right now. So is that also including like the new Avengers by way of like Thunderbolts new Avengers? Or are we including like Sam's new Avengers? Or are we including like the new Avengers where like they started collecting them after the Marvels movie? God, okay. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna pretend that everyone who's involved, who could possibly be considered an Avenger, either by 2012 standards, Age of Ultron, or the last members or / later members, plus the ones that are in the newer parts of the MCU, like Thunderbolts. So I'm just gonna pretend all of them are people to choose from, okay? Just to give myself a little bit of leeway. So if I'm not including Tony, then I'm including Bucky Barnes, I'm including Yelena, I'm including Alexei Shostakov, I am including Sam, and I'm including Vision. If they don't count, I'm sorry. What is your order on pizza? I like regular crust with Alfredo sauce, extra cheese, and chicken on top. What are your big 3 astrological signs? Not gonna lie to you, I'm not into astrology and I don't know. Because I was born at the end of September, I know I'm a Libra and that's about all I know. And I'm not gonna look it up because I don't like astrology. No offense to anybody who does, it's just not my bag. I have a bad history with it. Do you feel trapped into shifting content? Is there any other content that you would like to try but you are worried about people not watching? Because this is technically about like other content I might want to do and not just shifting, I'll answer this one. I do sometimes feel trapped into shifting content. Sometimes I do want to create other content, but like I don't know how I would create said content. I really wanted to branch off into like fandom content for a while. If you look at my TikTok, I used to post fandom videos where it was like fandom humor or POVs. I also tried to do that here with like the Harry Potter headcanons video. I also really liked making book content for a while. There's an entire playlist on this account of just like book review videos, and I used to use my backup TikTok as nothing but book content, but I felt like it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't really, I don't want to say no one was watching it because people were watching it, but it was more, I then felt pressured and couldn't enjoy reading. Sometimes I wish that I could make more content that has to do with fandom stuff that's not necessarily shifting stuff. Sometimes I wish that I could make more content that's like spiritual stuff that's not just shifting, but people always tie it back into shifting. I don't know how, but I wish that I could make content on like alternative stuff, because even though I'm kind of semi surrounded by a lot of color right now, in my head I am a Bride of Dracula type shit. So I really want to, I don't know, I kind of want to make my space look more alternative, but it's still quite nerdy. Like, I don't know how I would make content on that, but I think that it would be really fun. But sometimes I feel trapped in shifting content, but also I love making content about shifting, so it's not always a trap. There's just sometimes I wish I knew how to make other content, or if someone would be interested in other content. What would be / is your Letterboxd top 4? What is Letterboxd? Customizable list of 4 films users choose to prominently. Oh, okay, so it's like a social media site for movies? Oh, to showcase their personal taste in cinema. Okay. I know that I have favorite movies, but I also think it shows a lot like what my top 4 would be. I guess pulling from my previous choices, I do think that Sweeney Todd is one of them. Galaxy Quest, definitely. I think, though, honestly, those would be the only ones from like my favorite movie category that I would use. I think the other ones, Sense and Sensibility, the one with Alan Rickman and Emma Thompson in it. And then the 4th one, something that's like wildly different to all of those that I like. God, part of me wants to go with being like, oh, one of the Harry Potter movies. Oh, one of the Marvel movies. Oh, something from Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. If I have to pick a standalone movie, though, I would say Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Did I just name nothing but Alan Rickman movies? Did I just name a shit ton of Alan Rickman movies and not realize it? Oh well. You know who I am. That one's a shifting question. That's gonna get saved for later. What was the first color you ever dyed your hair and when? When I was in middle school, I had blonde highlights in my hair. That was my first ever time. If we're going with the first time I ever had anything in my hair that was not a natural color, when I was in high school, I believe I was 16 years old, I hit my emo phase really, really bad. Never left. But I hit it really bad, and I dyed my hair black, like random cheap black box dye from the store, and I used Manic Panic to put hot pink streaks on either side of my face, and then just like a random in the back. They were just like block streaks. It did not look good. I had that in high school, so that was my first non-natural color, but the first time I ever put any color in it ever was blonde. What are your preferred fan fiction tropes? I'm obsessed with Groundhog Day / time loop anything. It's not in style for most ships and fandoms I'm into, which pisses me off. I gobbled up what I can, get my gnarly widow talons on, best believe. Lately, I've also been salivating over hybrid human / hurt comfort. I think that started with Chobits. God, how old am I? Do you guys remember Chobits? Have you seen that anime? I can make my sister immediately sad if I walk up to her and I'm like, are you the one that is for chi? And she gets really mad really fast. I'm a good hurt comfort girl because sometimes, even though I'm depressed, it's hard for me to cry. So I will read something that's gonna hurt my feelings and then comfort me afterwards. I also, as far as fan fiction, I love a good, they've been holding on for so long and they finally break, you know, like the fuck it, you know. I also love, ooh, you know, one that I love and they don't do nearly enough. It used to be really, really big when I was a teenager. They do not do it enough anymore. I love soulmate tropes. I love the ones where people will rewrite people from the canon, whether they're, usually it hits harder if they're not a canon couple. And it's the soulmate trope because they have like the same birthmark, or they would have like the countdown on their wrists that counts down to the moment they meet their soulmate, or like their world is in black and white until they meet their soulmate, like that kind of stuff. Like, I love a good soulmate trope. That's another Kiss, Marry, Kill that I only know one of the characters. Have you ever read anything by Claudia Gray? She's an older urban fantasy gargoyle series. I have never read her. Someone brought her up on one of my lives the other day on TikTok, and I have never heard of her, but the fact that you just said gargoyles means I'm about to Google her. Top Disney songs. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love Disney villain songs. I told my mom the other day that I think they put unnecessary amounts of power in so many Disney villain songs. I think Hellfire from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, even though obviously it is a song that is supposed to be by a very manipulative, evil man who's trying to take advantage of an innocent woman, the power and the dark energy of that song is so artistically beautiful. Poor Unfortunate Souls from The Little Mermaid, you will get me rolling in the car singing about body language. It's obnoxious. I love listening to Be Prepared from The Lion King. I'm noticing a trend. I really like the Disney villain songs. I love telling people the fact that even though Jeremy Irons is an amazing singer, that he went so hard on Be Prepared that he threw his voice out, and the guy that voiced Winnie the Pooh had to voice the rest of that song because Jeremy Irons like with his vocal cords for that. Mother Knows Best from Tangled also slaps. Also slaps and is very catchy. Gaston, like his song just Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, hits really good both in the animated and the live action. What's a song that's not a Disney villain song so I'm not looking like I am? I love Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. I love that a lot. Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules. Great. I also love song from Sleeping Beauty, Once Upon a Dream. Like, there's just something, I just love that. There's something about that that's so nostalgic for me. It feels very, I love that movie. It feels so, like, fairy tale core. Would you ever do a series about witchy things / channeling, or even a video about the funniest things that you have channeled? Witchy things maybe, but channeling probably not. A lot of stuff that I channel for people is really personal, and I find it very important that people who get channeled readings from me are able to feel very comfortable that their private life is going to stay private, because it is a very vulnerable thing to trust a stranger to talk to your spirit guides or your higher self or someone in your desired reality. So I like mention stuff here and there, but it's usually stuff that like multiple people have had happen. Like I'll say like someone's higher self, like multiple people's higher selves have called them out and been rude as hell. I've also had more than one person's significant other try to get freak nasty through the cards. I'm not having that. But like, I'll never talk about like specific situations because I really want people's private lives to stay super private. So whenever I talk about like things that have happened in readings, I'm always incredibly vague because it's important to me that people feel like their private information is staying private. And that's another shifting question. What influenced your signature hairstyle? If anything, I love the signature bang. So my hairstyle came from a couple things. The original haircut came from Hannah Hart, the YouTuber Hannah Hart. She was the first girl that I ever really saw who had a not very gendered haircut. She has a similar haircut to mine. I think about where our hair stops is a little different. But I took a lot of inspiration from her haircut when I was in my early 20s because I think I actually have had this haircut since I was about 20 years old, and I have kept it about jaw length since then. I'm just now growing it out. It's up right now because it's all kinds of greasy. Hair wash day is tomorrow. I didn't want to do it today because I had errands to run all day and I have to film the pod tonight, and I like to put a hair mask in before I wash my hair now so I can try to keep it soft considering I use bleach on my hair. So I didn't want to have that in for 6 hours and then do the pod looking like that. But it is currently down to about here, I think. So it's the longest it's been since I was a teenager, and it's very strange for me, but I do want to keep growing it out. I'm gonna buzz the sides and the back tomorrow because I want to have a fresh cut for my birthday in like a week and a half because my sister and I are gonna go out. And I loved that her haircut was so androgynous. When I was 20 years old, my goal was I really wanted to look like a rocker. Like, that was my thing. When I was 18, I started to realize that I didn't feel very cool and I didn't feel very like nice about myself, and I wanted to get a haircut that made me feel cool, but I was too nervous to cut all my hair off because I was like, I'm gonna look like a boy. And now I'm so secure in my gender that like I've been mistaken for a boy before on multiple occasions, and I don't care. And I was so scared to cut my hair off, but I wanted to look really cool. And then once I was 20, I was like, I don't care anymore. I think I told the guy who cut my hair, I want to look like Pink, because that was the only other girl that I could think of that had short hair. I was like, I want to feel like a cool rock star. I want to look like an androgynous rock star. And I showed him pictures of Hannah's hair, but I said, give it like the vibe of Pink's hair. Originally the buzz was like this, like a little shorter than this all the time. It's like hard to see, but it's touching my ears. Used to, it would like be short enough just to not be touching my ears. Now I like to go completely down to the scalp, like no guard on the razor kind of thing. I can't even talk today. I like no guard on my shit when I get shaved. I have on occasion considered wet shaving my head, but I don't think I have the mental energy for that, so I just, But Hannah Hart is where I got my inspiration from. I think that mine might be taken up a little higher than hers, because I want to say that hers, I don't know, I don't think she's on YouTube anymore, but I think hers was about like here, mine is up here. Who's your least favorite / most hated Lord of the Rings character? God. Gollum. This is not a Smeagol household. What was your dream career / dream, something you really wanted to do when you were younger, and did you achieve it? That depends on what age you're asking me about. When I was a kid, all the way up until like middle school, I really wanted to be an author. I specifically wanted to write either fantasy novels, like adventure type stuff, or I wanted to write romance novels, because even as a kid I was like, I love. And then there was a period of about 2.5 years during middle school where, even though I can't act, I'm not a good actor, I can't cry on command, I can't force fake emotion other than masking because I'm neurodivergent, and that's about as far as my acting goes, where I suddenly decided I wanted to be an actor. And I think it was because I went through this phase of being really, really obsessed with famous actors, and I was sitting down every year and I was watching the Oscars and the Golden Globes and the BAFTA Awards. Like, I was sitting down and I was watching all the big award shows, and I was obsessed with people like Meryl Streep. And so I decided that I really wanted to be an actor, and that I wanted to go to, I think it was Vassar? Whatever college Meryl Streep went to, I decided I wanted to go to. And then I realized, hey, you can't act. So I bounced out of that. And then from the time I was in high school, I really wanted to be a YouTuber. I'm definitely not as famous as like Tyler Oakley or Markiplier or anything like that. But I am happy with the community that does follow me, and I get to make content. This is what I do, for anybody who doesn't know that. Making these YouTube videos and making the podcast and making TikToks is my job. And adding that on to doing tarot readings, I get paid more from tarot readings than I do from AdSense. But that is what I do for a living. It's not a lot of money, but as a person who has a lot of mental illness and neurodivergency and physical disability, there's a lot of things I can't do. And these are things I can do safely from home without physically injuring myself or adding to my mental issues. So I'm kind of living my dream from when I was like 15 to 18, and I didn't think I was gonna, and I was in my 20s before I ever started my YouTube channel. But I get to come on here and talk to you guys, and I get to run a podcast with my best friend, and I get to make silly TikToks that people think are funny. So I'm kind of living said dream now. I do eventually want to still be a published author. I would love to still write romance books, but I think that I need to give myself time to focus on this more for a little while, and then once I feel like I have a better handle on this, then I'll start doing that too. Would you rather wake up from a coma in the woods of Forks, Washington, or every time you spot a wig, you have to ask the person if they wear wigs? Anyone who doesn't get this reference, it's referenced to stuff that happened on mine and Carly's podcast, so you should go watch that to understand it. I would rather, every time I spot a wig, ask the person if they wear wigs. Because I don't want to wake up from a coma in the woods, because that means I was in a coma. I don't know how long that was. I don't want to deal with that. Another Kiss, Marry, Kill where I don't know one of the people. I know the other two people. The other two people are music artists, but I don't know who that first person is. I'm so sorry. I don't even know if there's any of these that someone sent in that I know all of them. What do you like to do when you're not making YouTube videos? How did you and your partner meet? Okay, so I'll do the first one first. When I'm not making YouTube videos, I'm reading and I'm playing video games and I'm bugging my mother and I'm hanging out with my sister and I'm obsessively texting my girlfriend, whom I'm obsessed with, and I'm calling Carly and getting taken on a tour around her home by her small child, which happened yesterday. And I like to spend a lot of time watching movies and binge watching TV shows. I like spending a lot of time reading Reddit stories because I'm kind of nosy, and I spend an unholy amount of time watching edits online. That's my biggest hobby. And then how me and Charlie met, we met on TikTok, just like me and Carly. Charlie and I met doing Harry Potter cosplay. I was cosplaying as Narcissa Malfoy when she was a teenager, so she was actually Narcissa Black at the time. And Charlie was cosplaying as Bellatrix Lestrange when she was Bellatrix Black. And she did a duet with me off of one of my videos, and my life was permanently changed after that. We were mutuals on TikTok when I was making just cosplay content and fandom content, and we were mutuals for like a year, only having like random on and off conversation, and she would only answer my messages like every few months because she was so bad at getting to messages, and so we didn't know each other very well, and everything just kind of came to a head in 2020 during lockdown, and we ended up getting really close during lockdown, texting each other all the time. And then she flew 2,000 miles away to come and see me. She lives on the other side of the country. She flew 2,000 miles away in October of 2020. So like when it was starting to lighten up slightly with lockdown, like people were starting to go back to work again and stuff. She came to stay with me in a hotel for like, I think it was like a week and a half. And we didn't start dating then or anything, but it was like really, really obvious to everybody but us that we were like so in love. And I look back at like pictures and videos of us and we were like, we are totally platonic. And there's videos of us laying in the same bed, like telling each other we love each other and convincing ourselves we meant it like platonically, but we were like cuddling, watching movies. Like we were completely convinced we were totally platonic, and I was like getting angry at my friends for telling me it wasn't platonic. I was wrong. And then we continued this very strange, flirtatious, romantic friendship from October of 2020 to like June of 2021. And she flew 2,000 miles again to come and see me. And we became a couple during that trip. And we've been together ever since. So we've been together for 4 years now. And I'm just so obsessed. I'm so obsessed with her, you guys. I love her. She's gonna watch this eventually when she gets around to it. And then she's gonna start texting me and be like, why are you talking about me? Y'all, my butt is so asleep in this chair. If you had to choose a song, movie, scent, and color to represent you to someone who does not know you, what would you choose? Oh my God. To represent me, not necessarily my favorite thing. Color, I would say black, which is cheating because it is my favorite color, but it's also, like, I want everything in my room to be black. Like, it upsets me that I can't get this giant dresser out of my room in order to paint it because I have to get, like, downstairs to get out of my house kind of thing. And there's no way to get this out of my house, so I hate that this is just, like, white furniture. But, like, I want everything to be black. My bedding is black. I want all my furniture to be black. I want all my clothes to be black. I eventually want to have black hair. I love wearing black makeup. I love like a darker aesthetic. So like color is for sure black. Movie, I would say between Sweeney Todd and Bram Stoker's Dracula. A song, I feel like my music taste changes all the time, but if you really want to understand who I am as a person, I would say listen to Alkaline by Sleep Token. That is a song that hits so hard for me. And then scent, probably lavender, yeah. What is your favorite animal? A manatee. What is your favorite anime or on High School Host Club? What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Caramel, but like not the ice cream being caramel. It's like vanilla ice cream with like ribbons of caramel in it. What topics do you know a lot of random trivia about? Harry Potter. And I could talk about it for like a really long time, but like specifically like fandom stuff, I think. Especially like personal headcanons about certain characters. Do you generally learn better visually, audibly, or kinesthetically? Is that how you say that word? I'm so dyslexic. I'm hoping that that's how you pronounce it, kinesthetically, or is it kinestically? I don't know. Basically, I think it's like, do you learn by seeing it, hearing it, or doing it? I will learn kind of a combination. It's not audible. You can't just tell me something, I'll forget. I have to see someone do something one time, at least, and then do it myself afterwards. So a combination of visual and like doing it myself. Hi, I hope you're having a sweet day. I hope this question's not too weird, but have you ever used Lenormand to make readings? I don't know what that word is. Is that how you say that? Lenormand? I don't know that word. Would you say it's better or worse than tarot readings? Also, your videos are so entertaining and catchy. Thank you for the things that you create. Hope all the great effort that you have put through every video is given back 10 times fold. Have a sweet day. You're going to make me cry. Thank you. I don't actually know what that word is. Is that a program or what is that? I don't know what that word is, so I have no idea. I think I need to adjust the camera a little bit. Hold on, guys. Hang on tight. Okay, is that better? Dream car, Dean Winchester's car. Oh, I know this one. It's a Kiss, Marry, Kill where I actually know everybody. Art the Clown from Terrifier, Michael Myers, and James Potter. I've never seen Terrifier, but I know the Terrifier clown because I see the merch for it. So that guy's gone. Don't want that guy. I guess I'll kiss Michael and then I'll marry James because James is rich. Even though I'm a Snape girl, James is rich, so I'll marry James. Have you ever traveled, and what is your favorite spot? If not, where would you like to go and why? I haven't gone a lot of places. I've only gone to like a couple of states and not really anywhere else or anywhere like crazy. I would love to travel to Italy, specifically Sicily, because my family is Sicilian. I would love to go to, is Juliet's Tower in Verona? Is that where that is? I would love to visit Juliet's Tower. I would love to visit Scotland, specifically with my mom. I would love to visit New York, to go to Broadway. I would love to go to Iceland. I would love to go to Ireland. I'd love to go to England. There's a lot of places I'd love to go. Another Kiss, Marry, Kill where I only know 2 of the characters. That one I only know 1 of the characters, so sorry. Top cartoon of all time. I'm gonna assume you mean TV show. I want to say SpongeBob. Because SpongeBob, like good SpongeBob, old SpongeBob, not the new SpongeBob. Old SpongeBob never gets old. If you were a dog, what breed would you be? I would be a husky because I'm high maintenance. Would you rather live in Dracula's castle, be given $5,000 a month for travel, or have your choice of 3 liquids to splooge from your fingers? First of all, you're foul for using the word splooge. Definitely not the splooge. Oh god. The Dracula's Castle one would have already been hard on a normal day, but because I'm really back hard into my vampire moment, this is really hard. I would say the $5,000 a month for travel because I can save that up and go anywhere I want, including Dracula's Castle. So if you end up an old lady, if I end up an old lady, what kitchen theme are you gonna go with? Mine's gonna be apples, they said. If I end up an old lady, if I'm not like taken down by a disgruntled waiter, I guess. If I end up an old lady, what's my kitchen theme gonna be? My girlfriend and I have talked about having, if we ever live together, we have talked about having a kitchen theme that's I don't know what the necessarily like the theme is, but we've talked about like a combo of like green and black, I believe it was. We talked about having like dark green cabinets and like black flooring and countertops, and she wants like copper everything in the kitchen, so like copper pots, copper sink, that kind of stuff. So like whatever you would call that theme, if you would call it like witchy alternative lesbian, I don't know what you would call that, but that. Some people don't like this question, so feel free to discard. What is your sun, moon, and rising sign? I don't know. What is one country you would love to go on holiday to and why? Italy, because family stuff. Actually, that's a lie. I want to go to Scotland because if I have the chance to travel overseas and I don't go to Scotland, my mom's gonna lose her mind. That's another. I can't answer like any of these kiss, marry, kills like ever. Favorite hobbies, I've talked about that. How do you feel about people drawing you? I've been thinking about it, kind of stuck in an art block right now, but I feel inclined to ask if you're comfortable with it before anything. Yes, draw me. I think I've only had someone draw me twice. One of them, I commissioned art recently from someone in our Discord server, and it was of me and my SO, one of my possible SOs in my Harry Potter DR. And then I had someone I used to be friends with draw me randomly once. So I'm completely okay with people drawing me. That's never happened, and I will cry. Favorite food, shrimp Alfredo. I don't know who one of these people is, again, in this FMK. Do you have a favorite Pokemon? Jigglypuff. I used to be able to do a Jigglypuff impression. My brother liked it a lot when he was a kid, and I actually have a giant Jigglypuff on my bed. How did you get into witchcraft? Was it before you found out about shifting, and what did you use it for otherwise? Yes, it was. I grew up with a very witchy mother, and she has always been a very spiritual person. She always really liked crystals and stuff like that. So I've kind of been like in it my whole life, and mostly I used it for like cleansing bad energy out of my room, feeling connected to the moon and nature. I was a part of deity work for a little bit, in the Greek pantheon, and really just like manifesting my own energies and like protecting myself and my space and my loved ones. What gemstones do you think are the prettiest? In my opinion, opal and ruby went. Yeah, I'm a sapphire girl because sapphire is my birthstone. But I don't wear a lot. Does amethyst count? Amethyst is my favorite, but I don't know if that counts as more of a gemstone or a crystal. Favorite dinosaur. This is Beans, by the way. What's up, Beans? I don't have a favorite dinosaur. So I'm gonna say a T-Rex, because it's the first one that comes to mind. What genres of music do you listen to, and or what are your favorite bands? My sister has gotten me onto this band lately that I've been listening to a lot of, Paleface Swiss. I like their stuff. I don't know anything about like the band personally, but I like their music. She's been listening to a lot of Slaughter to Prevail around me, so I've been listening to a lot of that. I said Sleep Token's my favorite band. I also love Ghost, Chase Atlantic. I listen to a lot of Arctic Monkeys sometimes. Ooh, Bad Omens is also really good. I really like listening to like a little bit of everything except for like country and jazz, pretty much. Top 3 music artists and bands, done that. Have you ever seen the Beauty and the Beast American fantasy drama television series that aired on CBS from September 25th of 1987 to August 4th of 1990? No, I haven't. I didn't know that existed. Would you rather never ever again be able to eat your favorite pasta shape, that's evil, or anytime you enter a room with 3 or more people that you have never met before, you have to ask the room, what were you all doing just a second ago? Finger popping each other's, and you can't laugh. I'm laughing now. Pasta shape's gonna have to go because I can't do that other one. Would you rather, from this moment forward, the only fanfic you have access to is Snary that's not crack, or watch a video of your conception? I would rather only have access to Snary fanfiction and then just never read fanfiction again. Just because that's all I have access to doesn't mean I have to read it. I would give up fan fiction. Are you kidding me? I'm not dealing with either of those things. Another FMK where I only know 2 of the people. Hi Lilith, love all of your videos and content. My question is, what are your favorite hobbies and interests unrelated to shifting? I have answered that, but I do love you. How do you think moving through life with a disability has affected you? I have friends that are disabled and I like seeing perspectives on things. Sorry if it's an invasive question. It's not invasive. I think it has affected me a lot developmentally. I know it doesn't always do that to everybody, but I don't get to do things at the same pace as everybody else because of the issues I have with disability stuff, because I do have a disability in my hand, but I also do have permanent issues in one of my hips and in my back and in both of my knees, because I've had several accidents in my lifetime. It makes it impossible for me to do certain things because I do experience so many problems with my body because I have had several accidents. I literally had an accident that I was in a wheelchair for a while because of. It is harder for me to get into the shape that I want to get into because exercise causes me pain quicker than it does other people. I don't get to learn to drive and have a car at the same rate as everybody else because gripping a steering wheel is actually really painful for me. When it comes to mental disabilities, because I'm neurodivergent, I always feel like I'm behind mentally. I feel like I don't feel the age that I am. I always feel a little bit behind. And I also have trouble holding down a job, so I always feel financially behind everybody else, and it makes me feel like I don't have the ability to be fully independent because I feel so dependent on other people because I have trouble functioning and making money. On top of being disabled, I'm also incredibly mentally ill, and that does not help. But I feel like it has definitely affected my ability to take care of myself sometimes and be able to provide the life that I need, which is why it's so important to me when people like care enough to get tarot readings from me or sit through the ads on my videos or whatever, because like these are my chance to make money as a disabled person that can't do a whole lot else. And I feel like I don't get to hit milestones the way everybody else does. My sister is younger than me and she has a house and I still live with our folks. And my brother is about to turn 21 next month and he has a car and he's on his way to getting his license. And I don't have either of those things. And because of physical and mental disability, I do kind of always feel like I'm behind my peers. Okay, this one I know is not from my best friend, but my best friend is going to take it very seriously. This is one of the few Kiss, Marry, Kills that I can do. Cillian Murphy in a Legolas cosplay. Cillian Murphy reading the lines from AHS Murder House and Cillian Murphy in a fursuit. Because I love my life and don't want Carly to take me out, I'm going to choose not to answer that. I know that that's not fun for whoever sent that in, but I don't even want to slightly look at Cillian Murphy, our man, Silly Man Murphy, a little too long, because she'll sense it and she'll show up at my house in the not fun way. What is your favorite book series of all time? Is it on the shelf that's too far? Yeah, the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I haven't finished it. But either that or the Black Bear Clan series. Ice Planet Barbarians is by Ruby Dixon, and it is it's an alien romance series about human women who end up on an ice planet and fall in love with fated mates who are like 7-foot tall blue aliens. And the Black Bear Clan series is an ogre romance series, and I love that. So one of those two series probably. You're walking through a forest. Around you is the native flora and fellow... You know what? This is going to be one of those crazy ones because I see the cigarette emoji at the end. You're nearing a clearing. Is there anything in the clearing? Is it empty? And how does the forest make you feel? You're trying to get into my mind and my mind is just confused. If I'm walking into this clearing, it looks like the meadow from Twilight and it makes me feel nostalgic. That's what's going on. If you were Miss Frizzle, where would you take the magic school bus on a field trip? I can't remember her going anywhere but inside of people's anatomy. Did she ever go anywhere else? I would take them inside of my best friend's anatomy just to be able to say that I did because it would bother her. How'd you meet your girlfriend? I already did that one. What's your preferred style of house or architecture? I don't think that I have one, but anything that looks like Dracula and his brides would live inside of it. Like very like gothic, dark, Crimson Peak-ish. You won the lottery. Congrats. You're given the choice between backpacking for a year straight with a small allowance, and then at the end you're given $5 billion post-tax. Okay? Or you are never allowed outside of your hometown, but you are given $2 million a year. I feel like the backpacking for a year straight with a small allowance, because I could figure that one out. And then get $5 billion post-tax? Are you kidding me? Yeah. What color do you miss the most in your hair? Sometimes I long for the days when I had black hair, but black hair is also so to get out, and I change my mind really, really often. But I do kind of miss having blue hair sometimes because it was nostalgic, and that was like the first weird color that I did once I had short hair. I am about to change my hair again though, so the red is actually leaving me the day after my birthday, so if you enjoyed the red hair, say goodbye to it. It's leaving, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing to it until it's already out there. Do you like the Conjuring movie universe? I've never seen it. This one I can do. FMK, Edward Cullen, Carlizzle, and Rosalie Hale. I'm going to say I'm going to marry Carlisle, because clearly he is a rich, stable man, and he is my favorite Cullen. I guess I'll go at it with Rosalie. Sure, because Edward's creepy. Edward's creepy. I'm sorry. Ooh, are we nearing the end? Oh my god, we're nearing the end, guys. We're down in our last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And some of them are repeats, so it's almost over, which is good, because I have to start filming the podcast in 6 minutes. You have your pick of any House of the Dragon wyvern. They aren't going to eat you or maul you. Which one do you want the most? I want Damon's dragon, because he had the noodle neck. Another FMK I can't do because I don't know all the people. What's your Dairy Queen order? I like a large M&M Blizzard. It's what I've gotten since I was a kid. I tried to switch to cookie dough for a while, but I swear to God it tastes different, so I go M&M. Can you tell us more about being a witch, your practice, where you began, etc.? Me personally, my journey has changed a lot. I used to be involved in deity work, and I'm not anymore because it took a lot of energy out of me, and I think once I change living situations eventually, I would like to get back into it with the same person. I'm still big into wearing crystals and working with crystals. I'm still big into sigil work. I don't have access to a lot of my stuff anymore. I had to put it in storage just because I was running out of room in my room for other stuff. But I love making spell jars. I love working with candles of different colors. Just like little stuff that I can do at home. What's your favorite color, scent, or texture? What's your favorite random fact? What's your favorite dinosaur / creature that now is extinct? Favorite color we've talked is black. Lavender is the scent. Texture, silk. Favorite random fact? I'm that person that when I watch Lord of the Rings, I like pointing out to people when Aragorn kicks the helmet while they're looking for Merry and Pippin. I love pointing out to people that Viggo actually hurt his foot during that scene. That's my favorite random fact. We talked about the dinosaur creature that is now extinct thing. What is your most watched or favorite music video? God, I don't really watch music videos anymore. I haven't in a long time. I'm trying to think of one from like my teen years that completely rewrote me emotionally. I, as simple as it was, used to really, really love the music video for Knives and Pens from Black Veil Brides. For some reason that like played every day, 10 times a day in my household. I also, what was that music video for that? It was a Paramore song that was in Alice in Wonderland. Was it called Brick by Boring Brick? Is that what it was? Or is that just what everybody called it? I was obsessed with that movie and I liked that music video because it like reached into the soul of the weird kid in me. So, and I think that's technically the last one because the last one's asking about my favorite bands again. So I've already answered that. So we have come to the end of all this, guys. Wasn't that an exciting ride? I am going to put my computer over there because I have to keep it open anyway. Oh my God, my butt hurts. This is an hour and a half of raw footage. It's actually an hour and 33 minutes. So thank you for anybody who submitted an anonymous question. I might do this again in the future. Anyone who didn't get theirs answered because it was a shifting question, I'm going to save those for later to put in a shifting Q&A. So yeah, thank you for doing this with me. I thought that it would be nice to have a video where you could like get to know me right before my birthday because I feel like I want to spend my 30s trying to really stay in touch with myself and get to know who I am and not the person I pretended to be for the whole of my 20s to people please everybody around me. So yeah, I hope you guys had fun. If you guys are not already subscribed to this channel, please click the big red subscribe button and join the family. It would mean a lot to me. Check out all of my social media in the description. If you would like a shifting tarot reading, please reach out to the email in the description. And please check out our podcast. Season 2 starts filming tonight and I'm excited. Yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.